Who hasn't seen the videos of narcissists blubbering after being caught cheating? Their seeming ignorance about the consequences is shocking. Didn't they know it wouldn't go so well when they got found out? Hi, I'm Dr. Kerry Kerr McAvoy, a mental health clinician and a narcissistic abuse survivor, and this is the 11th episode of Toxic Love. If you want to understand the mind of a narcissist, this is a good time to hit the like button and make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because each week I'm deconstructing a pathological love relationship from start to finish. I'll be tackling why narcissists do what they do and why we victims put up with it for so long. Not just the popular tropes, but I'll be offering a deeper psychological understanding of the narcissistic personality dynamics. If you've been cheated on by a narcissist, you may have considered teaching them a lesson and doing it back. You're going to want to stick around to the end to understand why this is a terrible idea and how it could even lead to a dangerous situation. A lot of videos talk about cheating from the common causes, like how narcissists believe the rules don't apply to them, or that they're so special that they deserve special treatment. I'm going to take this topic into a different direction, into the internal workings of our conscious and unconscious minds. I'm going to explain cheating from a psychological level, and you can apply this explanation for all the other crazy things narcissists like to do, like lie, start fights, and get into trouble at work. All of us are governed by three different internal pressures. Sigmund Freud called them the id, superego, and the ego. It's a helpful way to think about the development of our personality. The earliest drive that appeared is self-based and focused on survival. Freud called this the id. Infants, with their inability to manipulate the world around them, their limited sensory input, and yet intense need to survive, focus only on the immediate now, this moment. If they're hungry, they want to be fed now. And if they're sleepy, they drop into a doze now. And if they're wet, they scream for someone to change them now. This is the id in action. It wants what it wants when it wants it. Freud said the id also includes sexual and aggressive drives. Now, infants are not cognizant of these feelings as sexual or aggressive, but suffice it to say that they run on instinct. The superego pops up next, and it's derived quite a bit from the feedback of the parents around them, their negativity, their criticism, their possible rejection. But it also comes from the infant's fear of possible internal rejection, like shame. It harshly controls the infant's behavior. We usually see the first inklings of the superego's appearance when the baby enters toddlerhood, and it shows up around fear of being caught and rejected. Now, the ego, the last part of the personality, doesn't really appear until much later. It stands between the id and superego as it balances our id's desire for what it wants and the superego's fear of being caught and rejected. The ego is based on experience, education, and our innate strengths that we have. Imagine the ego, sort of like the manager of a rock band, caught between the band's sometimes impulsive, wild adolescent behavior and the record label's financial and administrative interest in the success of that band. Narcissist psychological development, however, goes awry, and for several reasons, their id remains the primary drive of their life, not their ego, which explains the immaturity of their behavior and why they make these weird justifications for what they do. Have you ever shaken your head in disbelief at the stupid reasons narcissists give for these crazy behaviors? Is it just because they can't come up with a better line, or because they really don't know why they do what they do, so they just make it up in the moment? Well, it's mostly because they believe they deserve what they do, and they know that's a lousy reason, so they make something up off the cuff. See, the id is more unconscious, so it doesn't really have good reasons. It can't really articulate the same way an ego can articulate. It's hard to understand this psychological construct of the id because once we reach a certain age, our id has become part of our unconscious and preconscious mind. We're no longer directly aware of its intense agenda, its pulsating needs, because our upbringing, religious training, and other cultural pressures, along with our own maturation, has quieted its loudness. It's still there, though. You can feel it when you really want to have sex with someone, or when you curl your hand into a fist and you just itch to give someone a taste of their own medicine. But our psychological maturity curbs it, and we stifle those urges and move them into more acceptable directions. But the id isn't as submerged for those with narcissistic personality disorder. It's still the primary force that directs their behavior. If they see something or someone that they want, there aren't the same internal controls to modify or sublimate those wishes. The id says, I deserve it. I'm special. I need it. And the other parts that warn that this is a bad idea has either never been really well developed or has been pushed into a small corner of their psyche. The normal governing behavioral modifiers are too weak to change their course of action, so there's little to no effect on them. That's why they're not afraid of getting caught. That part of the brain isn't loud enough to warn them. It also explains why they don't really have good answers for their bad behavior, because the id is like a hungry toddler screaming for ice cream on a hot summer day. All they see is the driving need, the object, the ice cream of their desire. Nothing else is visible in their mind, like it's almost lunchtime. None of that matters. And it doesn't help that they can't see the people in their lives, like you and me, the partners and families, as real people with needs, desires, and feelings of our own. Or that they can't see the person that they want to cheat with is a person too, with their own hopes and dreams, and that doing this may mess up that part of their life. All that looms in the narcissist's mind is the need, the want, the instinct. That's why they react so profoundly when caught. The id once again is in the driver's seat and is screaming that they want nothing in their life to change. Not the cushy relationship with you, not the consequences they may have with their community or their family. None of that matters. The id tantrums and pouts and attacks because all that matters is their need. The old want of cheating has now been replaced by the new want of maintaining life as it has been. Once again, the lack of the more mature parts of the psyche is missing. Consideration for your feelings as a betrayed partner, the loss of trust, and the catastrophic wound that now exists within your relationship. All that is in the mind of the narcissist is their own self. That's why there is no real efforts to make amends or any true change. That's why narcissists get so irritable with you for still being in pain after a day or two. You're cramping their style, getting in the way of them having life the way that they want it. And any measure of accountability is just not a part of that picture. Now, remember I said don't think about cheating as a way to get back to them? Here's why. The id in the narcissist will pop up there as well. Remember how Freud said the id is both sexual and an aggressive drive? You're not seen as a person, let alone as a partner. You're an object or supply. Being betrayed is not permissible for you to do in a narcissist's world. It will be seen as the ultimate violation and offense. The instinctual id, think of the animal kingdom, is very self-protective. Your betrayal won't be seen as on the same level as what they've done to you. They've justified in their mind what they've done as deserved, but your betrayal will be experienced as a direct attack against them, and they'll treat it as such. They may tell you to your face they've forgiven you. They may even take you back. But trust me, none of that has changed how they feel about what you've done. They're just waiting for the right moment to get even with you, because in their minds, that violation will never truly be forgiven or let go. The best way to think of narcissists and cheating is to remember that their psychological maturation is very, very young. It's barely out of infancy and certainly not out of toddlerhood. That screaming 3-year-old in the grocery store doesn't care that he or she's embarrassing their mom or dad. They don't care that they're making a scene in the middle of the food aisle. All they're thinking about is why they can't have the candy bar that they want. You're seeing in a narcissist an adult version of the same behavior. Has this video been helpful in understanding why narcissists cheat? And why your feelings as the betrayed partner or the relationship's well-being doesn't matter to them? If so, be sure to like this video and stick around by subscribing to this channel. And if you like this episode, then be sure to check out last week's, when I take a closer look at why victims appear so crazed yet stay in toxic relationships. And you're not going to want to miss next week's when I talk about ambient abuse and its subtle power to erode victims' mental mindset. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Big hugs. Stay safe and strong.